flip into flower too soon or too late and your yield suffers. Here's how to nail your flip timing. But first, check this out.
You better be coming. DGC Growers Cup 2025. Bring the dank. Vending, clones, seeds, mushrooms, maybe on all kinds of stuff. Tattoos. It's going to be a party June 7th for Million Hill, Longmont, Colorado. 50 plus strains. All you can toke all day. Help us pick the winner. Go to ddccup.com and bring the dank. Back to the hang.
All right, let's do this, Scotty. Let's flip. This is when you're going to 12-12. We're going to start our flowering period. So
Yes.
a lot of variables for this, though. A lot of variables, in my opinion.
And, there's one that I'm just thinking of right off the bat, and that is plant count. Most of the time, we want to grow bigger plants because that's what's legal. I think the most efficient way to grow is growing a bunch of really little plants with limited veg time. But a lot of this has to do with plant count. So how many plants you're allowed to grow can dictate how big you need to grow those plants to fill your canopy.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I would rather grow to a degree, let's say, instead of 10 gallons, I'd rather grow 4 or 5 gallons.
Right.
So I don't have to have that longer veg period. I can get it done quicker. If you listen to the Dude Grow Show, one of my styles I've tried is even a 12-12 start on your light period. You're still going to have a veg cycle. But most people, I think, are getting about 2 weeks to a month veg. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. Unless you're growing trees, there's some folks that are adhering to what do they have? 3 plant counts. Grandmother states that have 3 plant counts, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're doing that, you're growing trees, right? Trying to fill up a 4x4 space with 3 plants.
Well, container size, right? That's huge. And I met earlier when I mentioned, so people don't think I'm silly, starting on a 12-12 light cycle. I still got at least 3 weeks of veg time, and I was only in, I believe it was 2-gallon containers. So the more plants, the smaller the plants, the smaller the containers. You want to at least know, you don't want to go to veg too early. You want to make sure your roots are fully developed, that they're pushing out to the pot, edges of the pot. You'll still get root development in flower. It's just not as aggressive as getting them set up in veg.
Yeah, but the idea is vegetative growth. You're setting up that plant. You've got the new growth, creating all those auxins, being little hormone factories, and it's just fueling itself. It's like they're on testosterone.
Yeah, and if you don't know, I don't know, unknown bag seed, strain, clone, just a rule of thumb I don't think we mentioned was consider this plant's going to double in height.
Yeah.
You're going to have to deal with that. You're either going to have to know how to train it, or you already have that much vertical height. So that's a good way to go by.
Yeah, you're saying if you flip back at your plants are 18 inches or something like that, you should expect them to be 3 feet at the end, right? They're going to stretch.
Yes, sir. That's when you learn that you're forced to get good at training, low stress training, bending over, tying over, and doing all these things because this plant gets so aggressive.
Oh, come on. It's not that hard, man.
Consider genetics, man. Consider genetics. One of my favorite strains to grow was Island Sweet Skunk, or you might call it Sweet Island Skunk. Same strain.
What is
75% sativa? So that baby, you had to plan ahead. You had to tie it down. You had to know what you're doing. Where some indicas aren't nearly as much.
What is the idea? Is that banner is right here is helping me understand this, but like equatorial sativas, they've got a long time to grow because it's not freezing. The nights are longer. Anyway, longer growing season. So those grow bigger. And you got those short, squat indica plants like from the Kush Mountains of Afghanistan where they've got a short growing season. So they grow short and compact.
Pre-98?
Pre-90, Bubba. Just pre-98 Bubba Kush. But just Kush in general, they're short and squat plants. I don't know what happened to Bubba after 98, man.
Yeah, so know your strain, and that way you can obviously have at least a guide. Just because a pack says something or somebody tells you something, it's not necessarily the exact. And everybody's different environments can influence flowering times and things as well. This will stretch in different phenotypes, of course.
Yes. What else?
All right, this one.
What else?
Evaluate your canopy density, man. And a tip on this, if you don't know how to fill out a canopy well, get a scrog net, man. They're awesome for supporting buds, and you can set up 2 levels of them. And what are you saying when canopy is about half, 60% covered. You're going to flip, and then you can
I
keep
think
that
so.
going out.
I'd say I like 3/4 of the way. The canopy, if I'm weaving it inside of a trellis or if I'm using bamboo stakes. And by the way, huge advantage. I was staking my plants yesterday. You can take the pots and turn them with the bamboo stakes. You can move them around. When you get plants in that trellis, they're stuck where they are, man. So, yeah, just think about that. But yeah, I would think when 75% of my canopy is filled, that's when I would click back.
I agree with you on the scrog or the netting because I like to move my plants around as well. But one system I kind of consulted on was a deep water culture, all piped together so they weren't going to move.
Yeah.
And scrogged the whole thing, and it yields, man. That's an efficient use of getting all the buds, not just your top cola, just out. And when in a scrog, you're going to want to top off or top your main cola as well to get that side branching.
Yes.
What else? We got a pro tip here. I like this. Forget calendars. As a newbie, for sure, looking at calendars to say, you need to flip by this time. You need to do this by this time, and it'll be done by this time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
your
got to
14
judge
day,
that. Go ahead.
I was just going to say your 14-day veg will look a lot different if your clones, were beat up and needed some recovery, or if everything was in perfect condition. So a 14-day veg in my room is a lot different than a 14-day veg in Grambo's 2x4 closet. Sorry, pal.
I'll tack on as well. Pro tip: when you do the flip, just keep an eye on nutritional and hydration needs of your plant. You're going to see this plant, they take off, man. They're like, all right, it's time. We're going to flower. We're going to get ready to reproduce. So keep an eye on that. For me, sometimes my watering goes up a bit.
Yes, and just remember, you don't want too dense of a canopy in there. You got too dense of a canopy, you got no airflow, you got light not getting onto the buds. So yeah, consider all that before you flip.
That's how I flip my grow, yo. You know what I'm saying? Let us know in the comments. You have any tips or tricks? How you guys know when to go into the flowering cycle for your plants?
Right, I love it, dude. I love it. And if you dug this video, come on, hit the like button. It should be a love button, man. Come on, hit that subscribe button. Share this one with another grower you know. And check out the other couple videos YouTube's recommending. Grambo thinks you're going to love them.
I do.